Here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about what if. Anxiety is all about what if. We're going to discuss the brain on anxiety. We're going to talk about the difference between worry and anxiety. Then we'll assess the current situation, learn some coping, and present some resources to you. So, what if? This is a wonderful quote for any of us who've experienced anxiety. My life has been full of terrible misfortunes, most of which never happened. I don't know who Michelle is, but he or she is very wise because anxiety is all about imagining these horrible things. So, what if? But I want to take that what if and change it into a little bit more intentional, a little bit more mindful. What ifs usually go in a downward spiral in a negative direction, but I want to take a moment and imagine and experience some what ifs that are in a positive direction. So let's take a deep breath together. Just quiet your mind. Notice things around the room that you see. Bring yourself into the moment. Another breath. Get oxygen to that brain. And I want to suggest some what ifs. What if there's a cure? What if we learn something valuable from this experience? What if we really can rely on our supports and our strengths and get through to the other side of this? What if current precautions are working? Experience that for a second. What if? What if we came out the other side of this and it ends up well? Take a deep breath and stay in that space for as long as you can, because that's going to enable you to take in the information that we are going to go into next. So, a review of the brain for those of you who've been to my workshops or heard me online before. The brain. There's two systems we're going to talk about. The limbic system, which those emotions firing off, and executive functioning, which is the prefrontal cortex, the PFC. I'm trying to be cool and say the PFC. This is the logic and the reason. So it is difficult to access prefrontal cortex when limbic system is firing off. So when our emotions are high, we cannot take in new information. So this is why we feel the way we do right now. This is also why this presentation is not going to be a bunch of statistics and all kinds of, positive news, because you can't take that in when you are anxious and upset. What we have to first do is calm that limbic system, get out of survival mode. We've been surrounded 24/7 with clickbait, right? Online. Clickbait. It's a dramatic headline to get you to become emotional. You click on it, you read it while you're unable to truly process it logically because you are emotional, right? In limbic system. And that adrenaline can come as an addiction. It's hard to get off of it. This is automatic. Your brain, your body wants to keep going in that direction. And remember, our brain doesn't know the difference between perceived danger and real danger. And it doesn't know the difference between uncomfortable and unsafe. So some information makes us uncomfortable. The unknown definitely makes us uncomfortable, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're unsafe. So we're going to have to be really intentional to get out of survival mode so that we can access that logic and that reason that we need to move forward. And this keeps us from staying stuck in this space. Also, worry is a little different than anxiety. Worry actually uses the prefrontal cortex. It's strategizing, it's thinking about it, it's planning. When it crosses over to the next level of anxiety, now it's hit the limbic system and you're feeling it. So worry is thinking it, anxiety is feeling it. So take a moment again, notice your body, notice your mind. We all know what anxiety feels like, right? Irritable, impatient, angry, physical things, stomach issues, tense muscles, shallow breathing, your heart rate up. That is anxiety because now you've gone from thinking and into feeling it. And so it's also the difference between being prepared and panic. Prepared is you've strategized, you've come up with a plan. Panic is you're feeling it. So our goal is going to move through those feelings, calm them down so that we can think clearly. So how all of this comes out is hypervigilance. It's a big word, but it basically means we are living on the balls of our feet, waiting for the next bad thing to happen. It also involves what they're calling top of the mind thinking, and that is whatever is in front of you, whatever you are paying attention to and focused on, that's what you see. So if you focus and look for yellow cars, even though they're rare, you will see yellow cars. If you are looking for danger and warnings, you will find danger and warnings. They're in abundance. I experienced it myself because I've used all of these techniques. I've suffered with anxiety in my own life and I know what to do. But even as I was researching all of this and I was reading through articles and TED Talks and all these different things, I started to feel anxious because that's what was being put into my brain. Danger, danger, danger. It also links up with the danger only filter that your brain has when it's in survival mode. And that is your brain is going to search the perimeter for any signs of danger. And anything that's safe is going to be filtered out because that's not needed. That's not important information. Again, that's why in this webinar, I'm not giving you a bunch of positive information because that danger only filter is going to filter it out anyway, right? So that's what happens when we're online, when we're in the news. We're just filtering for danger. And then it just presents this case to our brain saying, yes, I guess I really am in danger, even though in that moment, right now, we're not. Emotions take over, leading to trouble thinking clearly. And again, that is getting in the way of us moving forward, finding solutions. All right, so let's assess the current situation together. Right now, you watch the news, TV, we are seeing and hearing things. That is also secondary vicarious trauma. And that's real trauma. When we see or hear about something bad that has happened to somebody else, we experience it ourselves, or our brain thinks we're experiencing it ourselves. So we need to take a step back from everything that's coming at us right now, as far as sensory goes and as far as information goes, and take a deep breath and assess it. So we see all these images, we hear these stories, we perceive potential danger. Our internal alarm goes off, sympathetic nervous system, right? Survival mode. That is automatic. We pass the hot potato of anxiety to each other. Part of that is that adrenaline rush, and part of it is just the nature of anxiety. For some reason, we think that if we pass it to somebody else, we get rid of it, but we don't, right? We're still anxious. It doesn't help to pass it on to somebody else. And it's fed by the current environment, and that is clickbait, as I explained, and teasers. Back in the day, I used to work in broadcast, and we would film and record sound bites. as teasers, we called them. And we would play them before the commercial, and it would be very exciting or very dramatic as to what's coming up next. The entire reason being so that you would sit through the commercial and come back. Usually, what happened when you came back and you heard the actual story, it really wasn't as dramatic as the teaser made it sound. That's what we're dealing with here. So websites, social media, news, they rely on creating this call to action to get you to click, to get you to stay and listen to the story. That leads more people to read or watch their stories. So those are the danger signals we're getting all around us. So the best thing to do with that is containment. You want to contain that. You want to take control over that. And we'll talk about that. So one strategy of containment, of taking control, is SOS. Okay, I'm thinking about the ABBA song. So when you're near me, darling, can't you hear me? SOS. That is in your brain now. You're welcome. This is what you're going to focus on instead of panicking. Okay, so when those feelings start, you are going to SOS. You're going to stop, observe, and shift. So stop to give yourself the opportunity to address and interpret whatever thoughts are going on in your head. Observe what you're saying to yourself and how it's making you feel. Shift your response, thoughts, behaviors, emotions by using these positive coping skills. So again, the survival mode is automatic. Unfortunately, backing out of it is not automatic. So we have to be intentional in doing that. This is skill and it takes practice. So be patient with yourself. What we want here is for you to take back control of what you are absorbing around you so that you can process it rationally. So what works in this type of situation when our brains and our limbic systems are really fired up is that experience sets and lands better in the brain than information. Because as we've said, emotions are high, we are getting a lot of information, and survival mode just scraps everything that's positive. Experience is what will land in this fragile state. So how do you create experience? So the first one was our mindfulness exercise where you did some what ifs in the other direction. What if we're okay? And let your brain experience that. It doesn't know the difference. Let it experience that. Another experience is what's happening right now. Because remember, anxiety is all about what if. So what's happening right now? Are you sick right now? Or are you healthy right now? Do you have everything you need right now, in this moment right now? Another experience is follow a normal routine as much as you can. If you have a certain time you get up, you make coffee, whatever it is, do those things that you do every day. That will signal to your brain that you are safe and everything's okay. And that in turn will help you think clearly and move forward in a helpful and positive way. Like I said, the next thing is the grounding and mindfulness. What is happening now? Are you safe now? And I know we can think of, but what if what if? No, are you safe now? As I sit here in my office with my computer, looking around, I'm safe. Experience that with your brain. The next thing is connection. Remember, connection is where healing happens. Our brains want to be connected to other people. Now, this is tricky right now because there is a social distance. Some people are isolated. So reach out, whether it's phone, text, um, FaceTime, whatever you can. Reach out to your support system and reach out to your supports. And I'll talk about that in a second. Empower yourself and make a plan. This is all about control, right? So again, the experience of creating a plan and having it ready will give your brain the message that it's under control. We already know what the plan is for the knowns, right? We already know what we're supposed to be doing, from washing your hands to, not going to huge gatherings, all of those things. We know what to do. Keep doing those things. That's part of the plan. Also, make a plan for, again, if you have to be isolated for 2 weeks. That doesn't mean you buy up all the toilet paper at Costco unless you think you're going to need that much toilet paper in 2 weeks. That's none of my business. But you want to make a reasonable plan and have the experience of knowing that you've got it under control. The last one I cannot stress enough. Take a break from news and social media, please. We get on that adrenaline rush and our brain is looking for the big payoff, which is the doom, the sky is falling, that big message that's never going to come, by the way, because that's not how this works. So we need to be mindful. Stop, take a breath, take a break, turn it off. And you might, in this moment, get some very helpful information, maybe from that TV show or that website. If you are worked up emotionally and you're feeling those anxiety feelings, you're probably not going to be able to process that. So again, contain it. Imagine it going into a container, set it aside somewhere, and when you are in a better place where you're calm and focused, pull that information out again so you can process it logically and with a clear mind. If you are watching news and social media, try watching it passively as a neutral observer. When we try to jump into it, when we take it personally, emotions get up and we can't really take in the information. So watch it passively. And if you can't, again, just take that information, go ahead and put it in a container and come back to it. Trust me, it'll be there after you take a break and calm down. So, with regard to connection and with regard to creating an experience for your brain that tells you you're okay, I cannot stress enough, reach out to those who are most impacted by this. We have an older population that is very susceptible to this virus. Thoughts that we are in danger and that resources are scarce lead us into that selfish survival mode. However, reaching out, calling someone, now this is an older population, so I'm sure they would appreciate a telephone call. We used to do that back in the day. Call them. Again, you can Skype or anything else. Connect with someone who is isolated. Ask them how they're doing. Or put together a basket of resources for someone. And again, just doing that, just having that, giving it to them, gives your brain the experience of safety and abundance, which is I'm safe, I have a plan, I'm safe enough to help somebody else, and I have an abundance that I can share. Now, I'm not judging. This is a safe space always, but I'm just going to say it and put it out there. Some people have an abundance of hand sanitizer right now. Some people have an abundance of toilet paper. I just want to suggest that it would be good for you and for others. Package some of that up. Give it to grandma and grandpa. Give it to your older neighbor down the street. So, final thoughts. We are being inundated with messages regarding this virus. Take back control of what you take in. Limit exposure to social media and TV, and contain any information until a time when you can process it logically. And remember, this is not the first webinar that I've done. I've done webinars after the wildfires. I've done webinars after mass shootings. We have made it through so much in the past few years, and we will do it again. We are all stronger and more resilient than we think we are.
On behalf of the DMV, thank you for watching. EAP is a no-cost benefit available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to all DMV employees and their families. EAP benefits include counseling, telehealth, which is counseling via video chat, web-based confidential care, which are self-paced modules available online for anyone dealing with anxiety, OCD, depression, substance abuse, or trouble sleeping. Also offered is text message therapy. Considering the current shelter-in-place order and social distancing guidelines, counseling via video chat will be more efficient and practical than traditional counseling. EAP offers other services, such as helping find child or elder care. You can access the EAP online at eap.calhr.ca.gov or by calling 1-866-327-4762. Please know that in addition to EAP, healthcare services are available from your healthcare provider. We hope you found this information beneficial. Thank you.